This is us going on the Ark. Yay! So we are currently in Porto Santo, which is one of the Madeira range of islands.
This wasn't our plan at all. This season we've been sailing from Greece all the way to England. But when we reached Gibraltar, winter was approaching and we started having second thoughts.
I really don't like cold weather. Sailing north meant going against the prevailing wind, crossing the Bay of Biscay and the busy English Channel just as winter is approaching.
So we made the huge decision to cross the Atlantic and spend a season sailing in the Caribbean. Considering how little sailing experience we have, this was quite a scary but exciting thought. We decided to sign up with the Ark Plus to sail from the Canary Islands via Cape Verde all the way to Grenada in the Caribbean. Ark Plus stands for Atlantic Rally Crossing via Cape Verde. It's part of the World Cruising Club. This organization sets very high safety standards that boats must comply with. And it also provides training videos, weather routing, not to mention the company of lots of other sailors headed in the same direction. We knew that signing up with the Ark would give us peace of mind and a sense of security. So we launched into the big job of preparing our boat for a major ocean crossing. Welcome to Uli and Eva, our crew for the first part of our voyage. Uli is a very experienced sailor. At 80 years of age, he's as fit as a fiddle. Both Eva and Uli were amazing company on board. We learned so much from them about sailing and about life. So our journey is about to take an unexpected turn as we head south instead of north. After all the preparation work was done, there was still time for a flying visit around Gibraltar.
It includes the pillars, St. Michael's Caves, the Skywalk, which is a brand new glass walking viewpoint, monkeys, and the views of the north defences. And we drive you through the old town and we bring you back down here.
Is that good? That's
Sounds
good.
fantastic.
This is a very historical little graveyard. It goes back to 1805.
That's pretty.
Ist noch gut, oder? Machen wir das so.
It's not going.
Ja, das Bild war ja auch im Internet.
Do you know the story of the battle from Trafalgar?
No.
Captain Bligh was the British.
Nelson.
The fleet, the Spanish fleet was much bigger than the British fleet. They had no money in that time to spend for fleet and so on. And but they had more modern cannons. The cannons could
The British.
leave. They could
Go
bear
further.
further. And the Spanish had a huge armada. And there was a twist between the commander, who was a senior from the very upper class, and the captain, who was the
Running
practical.
the show.
The practical. He wanted to do other things, but the commander did not follow his advice. And the British, they had this Captain Bligh. You know, he was very experienced and very tricky guy. And so they followed his advice, and so they could. Fuss around the Spanish armada because they approached to the ships. They could shoot the ships, but the Spanish couldn't reach. And they draw them in places. They draw them in places where they could not move and so on.
They passed through the row, and the British they went through, and it was too
Oh, they went through in a line.
too
Look at
near.
this.
Yeah.
Just look at that. If you go through in a line,
Yeah.
then
Sometimes
all these guys can't
there was
reach
a
you.
nice,
But if you go like
They
that,
push
can-
them from behind.
ah, okay.
yeah. So
Okay.
and then they tricked them out, you know.
Yeah.
So and then
Sneaky.
finally they lost the ships. The Spanish.
Yeah.
And because of the wind, they could not turn around because with these kind of boats, it's not easy.
Yeah.
And then they came out of the channel. And they ended up in the North Sea, and they had to come
All
back
the way
via
around Scotland.
and so on. So very difficult.
Destroy the whole
So
fleet.
it was a very
Yeah, I
I
remember
can add
that.
a little bit to that story.
Yeah.
So the Spanish Armada was escaping around
The
Scotland and Ireland.
That's where the.
And many
I
of
know.
the boats
Yeah.
were shipwrecked on the Irish coast.
yes, because very rough.
Yeah, and many of the people from that part of Ireland, they are very dark complexioned with dark curly hair like Spanish,
Yeah.
including my late husband, John.
Okay.
He looked like a Spaniard, but
Okay.
his people were from Ireland.
It's a nice place.
Gibraltar is a tiny British overseas territory situated on the south coast of Spain. Its location at the entrance to the Mediterranean Sea is politically very important. The territory only covers 2.5 square miles, and much of this is occupied by a huge rock, the Rock of Gibraltar. Within the Rock of Gibraltar there are over 200 caves formed by the erosion of the limestone rock over thousands of years. Even the Romans called the Rock of Gibraltar Hollow Mountain. Inside there are beautiful stalactites and stalagmites. Wow, that was quite an experience.
Between the two ships.
Yeah, see him.
So now where?
There's another one.
So we're going up the Skywalk now?
Yeah, here's the beach.
Right, let's go. Oh, it's a lot of steps.
There was an accident.
Wow.
There was a collision.
Really?
Yes.
It looks like it's going down, right?
Well, it's probably on the bottom already. You can check, it's not very deep.
Oh.
We just
We are here, so we will come out there, and then out there. Where is the anchorage down there? Yeah.
Oh, wow. All layers.
Yeah, you wouldn't want that to collapse, would you?
Yeah, this is where we are.
And right down there you can see Queensway Quay Marina where our boat is. You can just make out our boat close to the buildings.
In addition to all the caves that are inside the Rock of Gibraltar, there are also 34 miles of tunnels, that's 55 kilometers, dug mainly for military purposes. In the 20th century, the tunnels were turned into a huge underground fortress capable of accommodating 16,000 men, along with their supplies, ammunition, and equipment.
This is a small recreation of what life would have been like in the underground hospitals. There used to be 5 underground hospitals in Gibraltar. None of these are in use nowadays. The tunnel continues past this display, although it is closed to the general public. The 4th Battalion of the Black Watch formed part of the garrison from July 1940 to April 1943. Their working parties were engaged in the construction of much of the tunnelled defences along the north face. The balcony is named Jock's Balcony in their honour. The Black Watch was a Scottish regiment, and Jock is a very common name in Scotland. This balcony commands a magnificent view of the isthmus. Here you can see the airfield and airport terminal, as well as the main road that crosses the runway connecting Gibraltar to Spain. Traffic is stopped to allow aircraft to land.
Ooh, this is Jock's balcony. Behind us you can see the airport runway, and it's really weird, but there's a road running across it. And we went to the supermarket the other day and we drove across, and then we had to wait. We couldn't come back. We had to wait for an airplane to take off. And it's so amazing. The runway is 1.1 kilometers long. Apparently that's very short. And if the wind is blowing the wrong way, then planes have to be diverted to Malaga. So there's the runway, and it starts over there at the sea. And then it carries on behind the rock. You can't see, but what you can see here is the road that's crossing it. There's a lot of reclaimed land in Gibraltar. In fact, the runway itself is built on reclaimed land. A lot of this here, this very flat land, is all reclaimed from the sea, using a lot of the rock that was excavated from the tunnels that they've dug here. Oops.
I can just about see over the edge.
Here's the whole runway. You can't see a little bit there. Okay, from every place we've been, we see a different angle. Here the road is right in the middle. I'm just so fascinated by this road that crosses the runway.
I That's the place I told you when it was too rough here.
Yes.
We didn't know. You go
We should've
directly
gone
and
there.
drop your.
If we dropped anchor there, we could have been living for free all this time.
We loved our stay in Gibraltar, and we hope you enjoyed sharing it with us. Watch next time as we head out of the Mediterranean and into the Atlantic.
We caught our first fish in the Med.
It was not so small, man.
It's still in the Med. So in the Straits of Gibraltar.
Which bit of today's video did you like best? Tell us in a comment below. We always enjoy hearing from you. Also, remember to give us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it and subscribe to our channel.